Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the treasure map versus Luffy for the 5+ of Sulong Bepo. And in today's video, we're utilizing teams that don't use any of the new treasure map characters, nor do they use any of the One Piece Day Celebration Super SUGOS or regular legends over on those banners. In saying that though, I would highly recommend heading over to the Luffy vs Kaido part if you guys still have gems, and throwing some multis at that particular part of the banner, because sure, you're not going to pick up Lucci vs Kaku. Oh, sorry, Lucci Kaku, not versus Kaku. Lucci and Kaku. You're not going to pick up Stussy or the Seraphim. However, there's a bunch of very good Super Sugo characters and treasure map legends over on that banner. So if you do want to summon somewhere before you sort of build your teams, I would highly recommend summoning on that Luffy versus Kaido part, as it's going to be the most valuable for your account. Not only for like this treasure map, but future treasure maps, and obviously picking up a Super Sugo is quite nice as well. If you guys have already done that, you guys, dumb. What are you talking about? We've been there, done that. Don't stress. I will have another video out for you guys that utilizes the Luffy vs Kaido, the Blackbeard vs Law, like those types of characters too. And then we'll have my particular teams that use Lucci and Kaku and the Seraphim, because I didn't pick up Stussy, but look, I'm not going to go back in chasing Stussy. Not this close to another Super Sugo. It just doesn't make any sense. So, for some reason, Bandai have just absolutely culled the boosted list. Look, it is what it is. These things happen. All we can really do is move forward. But as you guys can see down here, like, the boosted list is kind of cringe. Like, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad indeed. Like, you got a couple of these other treasure map rare recruits. These are the free-to-play characters you have at your disposal, which is just, like, none. Then we've got the treasure map legends. Obviously, this is why treasure map legends are so valuable, because they are always boosted. And then you've got the Arlong, 5+ Arlong over here at a 1.25. I love this. Arlong's great as a unit. Plus, he's just been so valuable in so many fights, including this one. Next, we've got the 1.35 tier. Obviously, we're not utilizing those top row characters, nor are we utilizing the middle row characters, but we will be using the Hiyori and the Akainu. This particular Hiyori is a prime example of why I highly recommend keeping a 5+ and a 5-star copy every single time we get these new units, because you can run both of them as 1.35 boosters, making it very easy to get to your 10 million points. Next, we've got the 1.4. We're going to be using the Bepo on our final team alongside the Ace from last season, so hopefully you guys picked up 5+ Ace. He's going to be very, very handy for the final fight. Obviously, we have Bepo here at a 1.4 times as well, and then we have the rest of the boosted characters. But like I said, this particular video is designed for people that either didn't summon or couldn't summon, or just got very, very unlucky, or are missing some pieces of the puzzles to some other teams they've seen. Hopefully these teams might help you guys out. Now, when it comes to treasure map, we always like to do speed for our mini bosses, and then we like to funnel all of our big points to the end. So that's what I've aimed to do in today's video as well. So, starting it off with the first mini boss, that is Nami. The recommended character is 6+ Akainu. Now, 6+ Akainu is a 1.35 times booster, so you bet your ass that we're going to be utilizing 6+ Akainu over on the final stage. Plus, he's a fighter, so he works really, really well alongside Lucci and Kaku. Everyone gets all the good stuff. There's Despair, normal attacks only, resilience, defense up, and 3 turns of a barrier. As you can see, 6+ Akainu is very, very good for this fight. But for this fight, we're utilizing Nami Karina. If you can use Nami Karina, if you have Nami Karina, every treasure map they're boosted. They're always getting cooldowns. You love to see it. Very similar to this Lucci and Kaku unit. They're just going to be very, very valuable moving forward. And for this particular treasure map, we're utilizing them on the first fight because besides Akainu, Nami Karina are the only strength character that's boosted. Like, if you actually go into the boosted list here, like for a second, and we just go like strength characters, literally all you have is Nami Karina and Akainu. Like, that's literally it. Like, why? You made one of the bosses Dex. Like, why we only got 2 strength units? It's crazy. But to get around the barrier and the resilience, Nami's just going to take care of that. Her special basically removes 6 turns of it. You are going to have to remove 3 turns of barrier though, so running double Nami Karina does the trick there. There is defense up, and the plan here is to use this Robin. Now, Robin removes the defense up and the despair. However, she doesn't set defense to 0, so you might have to take a contingency plan. And for this team, I actually threw on Dr. Vegapunk Edison the Thinker and Dr. Vegapunk Pythagoras. So these guys set defense to 0. Try the Robin first, because I imagine on the map it'll work fine. But that's kind of the plan. I threw Sasaki on here, like, literally just because, and then I have Zoro for wave clearing strats. Like, pretty straightforward. Moving on to the second fight, we come up against Franky, and the recommended characters are the 5+ Ace and the 5+ Hiyori. Obviously, we want to use Ace on the final stage because he's a 1.4 times booster. Free Spirit, Powerhouse, Slashes, get all the good stuff. And then on turn 3, there's Despair, Special Reverse, full board of unfavorable slots. Your top row get Paralysis Orbs, though. There's a Wino Orb Barrier, and then a enemy territory, which is very, very annoying. Plus, I believe you fight Luffy and Franky, and the retreat means that Luffy runs away. So Luffy just comes in, I think, puts up territory, and then he just leaves. Or does, like, this other stuff. I'm not 100% sure exactly what happens. But for this particular team, we are utilizing Carrot and Wanda as our captains. Carrot and Wanda, they can get around the Special Reverse for your sailors. I believe on the final stage, they actually just give everyone cooldowns. So you don't really need to use their special, but look, they're going to be an orb booster. They have type advantage too, which is really, really nice. And they're going to hit very, very hard. You can use their super swap for an attack boost as well. Works out hunky-dory. Brooke's going to wave clear turn 1. Izo Kiku's going to wave clear turn 2. And then on the final stage, we're going to use the 5-star of Hiyori. Now, this is why I scream at people. Make sure you keep a 5+ and a 5-star of Kazuki Hiyori. Like, the co-op units, the treasure map units, the PK units, make sure you keep one of each copy because this is where you can just abuse running 2 of them. We're just using her just purely to get around the territory. That's literally it. But she also has Despair removal, 2 turns of it, and then you can use something like the Rayleigh support to get around another 2 turns. Luffy here, if you guys don't have this on some Luffy, don't stress. Just run any other Luffy. He's literally just here because he's a Luffy. Like, that's literally it. If you have Law, throw Law here, throw Corazon support. You'll be absolutely hunky-dory with there as well. We do get a full board of unfavorable orbs with this particular team. So, like, you can do like this if you want, and then Luffy's going to give you matching orbs. But it all works out pretty easily and pretty nicely here. So, that's going to work out super easy. Onto the final, or not the final mini-boss, we're on to Sanji now. Sanji, we are utilizing the 5+ of Hiyori. The 5+ of Hiyori works amazingly because you can run 2 of them, and you get a 1.35 booster on both sides, which works really, really nicely. Quick, Int, and Dex characters get all the good stuff, and then on battle 3, you get blinded on your middle row. Bottom row gets stunned, and you get a full board of block orbs. There's normal attacks only, full immunity except defense down, increased damage taken, a barrier, and all type orbs will get actually a 99% reduction, which is annoying. Plus, on defeat, take 100,000 damage, which is quite a lot. So, we're using the 5+ Hiyori here. You can replace her with literally any captain you want. If you need to use the Hiyori on the other fight, and you didn't save 2 copies, just replace her. There's no issues whatsoever. I just thought, hey, let's make the most out of the 2 1.35 boosters, and then you can run 2 of them, and that way you get a captain ability. We're using Wipe It as a wave clearer. We're using Vista as a wave clearer, and then on the final stage, we're utilizing Arlong to tank damage, plus he's going to get around the stun for us because he can inflict damage to your crew. Plus, the enemy has defense up. The enemy has all of those basic abilities that make Arlong trigger his increased damage taken, his base stat boost, all that fun stuff as well. Sure, the rest of the team is not Powerhouse Slasher based, but he's just covers so many bases here. The tanking the damage is the big one. Finally, we have the PK Luffy. He's going to give us Despair removal, if I remember correctly. Plus, he's also going to, or maybe he doesn't Despair removal, but basically what he's here for is to get a full board of recovery orbs. With this, you can then tap through the barrier, and you're just off to the races that way. So it just works out really hunky-dory. I believe you keep recovery orbs. I need to double-check this particular captain ability to make sure that we don't actually get any Wano orbs. No, you make Psy orbs into Wano orbs, so just be very, very careful there. So, utilizing Luffy's going to get you a full board of recovery orbs, and with that, you're pretty much covered. You don't have to worry about the increased damage taken on the slots and stuff like that. You also want to use the Rayleigh support to take care of the bind on the middle row. I believe Hiyori, as a captain, actually gets around 2 turns of bind, so you don't really have to worry about that too much. Yeah, you just remove 2 turns of bind there. But whatever you guys want to do will actually work quite nicely if you guys are using Hiyori elsewhere. Onto the Zoro fight now. Zoro is an int character, actually. He turns into an int character. Shooters, strikers, and cerebrals get all the good stuff. On battle 3, you get a captain swap to your bottom row. So one of your bottom row characters will become captain. Your top row will then get 2 turns of silence. I believe this is the action silence, which means you can't do anything with your captains after this happens. So just be very, very mindful of that. Normal attacks only, full immunity, defense up, damage reduction, and paralysis gets inflicted on the final stage as well. And I believe this happens after the captain swap, so just be very, very mindful of that. For this team, we're running double Nami. Nami's great because she gives cooldowns to the crew, but she's just going to take care of the paralysis. Obviously, you're going to lose your captain Nami, so if you don't have Nami, You can run a friend captain Nami and that'll work, but I just found like running 2 Namis here is just going to be the wave. On turn 2, you want to use the Luffy special and the Sanji special. That's going to give you an attack boost and an orb boost. You can carry that into the final stage. And then wham bam, thank you ma'am, doesn't matter who gets swapped into captain, you are going to be very hunky-dory there. As for the Zoro and the Franky, they're going to take care of the defense up, the damage reduction, all of those effects because you have a Luffy on the team. And you get color affinity and another orb boost there. So you don't really need to use Sanji on stage 2. Realistically, you just need to use Luffy. With that, you're pretty much covered for everything. You still have a Nami as your captain, and it doesn't matter who becomes captain, either Luffy or Sanji. You have a very decent captain in both of them. On to the final fights now. This is where things get a little bit juicy, because without any of the One Piece Day Legends, and without the Treasure Map Legends, it makes it very, very challenging to get this done. Like, very, very challenging. But I think I found a way to get you guys to 10 million points, and if you guys don't have these units, like the ones that are recommended, or the Super SUGOS, I'd recommend just getting to your 10 million points and calling it a day, because it's going to be very painful otherwise. On Battle 1, fighter-driven strikers get all the good stuff. On Battle 2, you get 4 enemies. You have Nico, Robin, Usopp, and Chopper. They all have 500,000 HP. And then you obviously have the main boss, who will scale. I believe that these enemies on the outside, they will not scale. They wouldn't tell you the HP stats otherwise. So I believe they just always fix at 500,000. The preemptive gives you special mine on your left-hand column, 7 turns of attack down, defense up, full immunity except defense down, and then a target lock. So I believe that Luffy will be with these guys, and Luffy will lock onto him. If you remove the defense up, though, you lose your beneficial effects. 3 turns of special rest, and then after you defeat Luffy, he's going to run away, come back for stage 3. And with this stage, he brings Brook and Jinbei, again, having 500,000 HP. Starting state for Luffy, he's weak to Driven, and then you get binded on your bottom row for 6 turns after Socket. Your middle left slot will get blown away. 3 turns of a very small 1.1 times attack boost. A damage threshold up to 300,000 damage, I believe it is. Which is, very interesting, because, like, it's 3 million stump. Yeah, 3 million damage, which is very interesting, because I don't know if this is going to scale, or if, like, you have to remove that, because it's 2 turns, and it's like, I don't really know what you're trying to do here, man. Like, if the HP scales, and I'm only doing up to 3 million each turn, and all of a sudden we're at 7 million HP, realistically, this should take me 3 turns to kill this stage. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but I guess we'll see. But remember, you only have to hit 3 million damage. That's the goal here. There's 10 turns of damage reduction threshold. There is the grey shield for HP cutting. And then you get lock target again onto Luffy. So you actually can't kill those side units, which is an absolute problem. And for that, I really hope this team works, because like this is going to be very, very challenging. There is no normal attacks only, though, as you can see there, unless you remove the damage reduction. Then there is a slot barrier, type effects, full immunity, and then you get a full bot of block slots as well. So just be very, very mindful of that. It's very, very annoying to fight this one. This one's kind of nuts, if you ask me. But the team looks like this. I imagine we will be okay. I imagine we're going to be okay. So ideally, on turn 2, we're running a Lucario friend captain, by the way. You just have to do that. It's the be-all end-all. On turn 2, basically what we plan to do here is utilize the Akainu special. Now, Akainu is going to have a 3-turn attack boost as long as you have one of every type on the crew. With Lucario, if you start as Kaku, you're going to have one of every type, being Int, Strength, Quick, Psi, and then the Dex character there. So if you do this, you will have 3 turns of an attack boost with Akainu, plus Akainu is going to do a bunch of extra damage, like it's going to increase damage taken, or I don't know if he actually does increase, because you can swap into Captain, so then he will do increased damage taken. Yeah, you can swap into Captain with this guy, and he will do increased damage taken, and then you can use the Captain swap out of that, and you'll be fine to go from there. With that, you should just kill the back units with the burn. That should work. I believe it should work anyway. And that should be enough. Like, you can swap with what's her name? Nami and Carrot into the Dex unit. That way you can start as Lucci and then have type event on the final stage. That should work too. But I'm kind of banking on the fact that this burn mechanic is going to kill the back units. With that, like that's just going to be the big play. You set defense to 0, so you're covered there. You're not removing the special button, but like we're going to do that. We're going to do that on the final stage. But as you can see here, you can apply an ignite I believe. Yeah, apply Ignite to all enemies, which does 100 times his attack, which is very, very good. Problem is, you are going to have to tank the shots from the units in the back, though. And that is going to be a little bit challenging. That's probably going to be the big issue with this particular team. But I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. There might be like a damage reduction support that you can use here. Let's have a quick look here. Because otherwise you can do like a super swap and then use the swap of Lucario. That's what I was kind of going for, but I totally forgot there was a target lock on the final stage there. So hopefully we're going to be able to get through that. So if you use this Kizaru, I guess there's 25% damage reduction there. But it's only from sign-in characters anyway, so that's really not going to help out that much. There might be something like thresholds. Is there like reduction? No, there's not. So, kind of really stuck there with like what you can and can't use. But yeah, like I said, it should be fine. It should be fine. If it's not, you can super swap with Lucario, and then we can use the Ignite of Ace to do the same thing on the final stage. And with that, like you can definitely run something like damage reduction support on Ace. That should easily. What do we got here? Yeah, something like this. And with the damage reduction support on Ace, like, that should help you guys out on the final stage. So, depending on what happens here, like I said, you might need to use the Super Swap. Ace actually also applies Ignite, now that I'm thinking about it. So, you could easily just apply the Ignite on the final stage and just run the same strat that we're kind of, like, trying to do here. However, Ace's Ignite is actually a lot weaker, so there's also that. You will still have the swap of Lucario, though. So, like, if you Super Swap with Lucario on turn 2, say you Super Swap into Lucci, for example, and then swap into Kaku on the final stage, then you are going to do damage with that swap too. I don't know what that damage is going to look like. 500,000 just seems very, very excessive. But I feel like they want you to use the super swap of Lucario to actually get that damage output anyway. And if you run 2 of them, you will have that double effect too. So that's something to know. On the final stage though, we're going to use Nami and Carrot. They're going to remove the bind and the special bind. They're also going to apply an Orb boost with the Cat Viper support. Remember, we have the carryover of Akainu to block that 1.1. I did bring a very small color affinity booster in, what's his name? In Lucci. Yeah, in Lucci on Akainu. That's basically just going to block the color affinity that Ace can give. The reason I want to do this is because we do want to use the Lucario special on the finals, like on the next turn. So that way we can get color affinity. I believe they do damage. Maybe Ace does damage. I don't know if Ace does damage, but Ace is pretty much just here to get around the territory. He's going to apply Ignite for 3 turns, which does seem like that's what they want you to do in terms of taking up to 3 turns. And that should work. And then on the second turn, we can use Atlas to give ourselves an attack boost for fighter characters with the 2.75 on that second turn, as I mentioned. Atlas is great because she gets around the attack down as well, so that way you can save the Lucario special for that final stage. I'm pretty sure Lucario does damage. Let me just have a quick look at Lucario's damage output. Remember, Lucario, their super swap is going to do a certain amount, 60 times their attack, that ignores defensive effects. So, with boosted stats, this is going to do a lot more. It also sets defense to 0, not that that really matters that much. And the switch ability just does 20 times. So, if you use the super swap on turn 2 to kill and then just bank it that way, you should be fine, I imagine. But if you need to sort of use the burn on turn 2 to kill, then I don't know. We'll do some testing and stuff like that when it actually comes out. But let me know if you guys have any thoughts down below, because just like I said, those mob units might cause some pretty big issues later down the line, especially if you're not killing everything in one turn, because like we don't really know exactly what their attack time is going to be, right? If they attack you every turn, that damage threshold is going to be very, very annoying. But what you can see here is you can actually delay the enemy. So if you delay, that's probably going to be the best way to avoid a lot of that damage. Bepo, completely replaceable on this team. If you really want to and you're really struggling, you can do this. Replace Bepo with a delayer, and that way you guys will be in for a good time. So that's the team. Like I said, it was pretty rough building for this, and hopefully it works. I will do a playthrough once it comes out. But moving on to the intrusion against Bepo. Obviously, Kaido, Blackbeard versus SUGOS, and then the treasure map batch are boosted. Dex, quick, and in-character, all the good stuff. On turn 2, there's 1 turn of special reverse. Normal attacks only. There's a tandem orb barrier. 6 turns of damage reduction and threshold. Full immunity except defense down, and then the enemy puts up a territory. On battle 3, Bepo is weak to driven characters. There's a special reverse, a 1.1 chain lock, and then 7 turns of an attack down if you blow a 3.75 chain. 9 turns of attack down, normal attacks only, full immunity except defense down, and then a top road to spare of 9 turns. If you charge your specials as well, for 1 time, you're going to lose beneficial effects, and then you're going to lose your type effects, which is very, very annoying. So, if you charge specials on the final stage, you're kind of cooked, and now that I'm looking at this team, it's just not going to work, because I have butchered in the fact that Lucario only give fighters and driven cooldowns, not everyone cooldowns, which is going to be a massive, massive problem. But on turn 2, to get around the damage reduction and the threshold, the idea here is to go into stage 2 and be the variation of Lucario that reduces the threshold. Bepo is going to take care of the damage reduction for us. That's awesome. That's great. That's hunky-dory. But we still need to get around the damage reduction. So with that, the damage reduction. So Beppo's just going to get around that. Wow, words are hard. We need to get around the threshold. Getting around the threshold with our Lucario friend captain means that we can just bypass that, and it works out super nicely. To get around the special rest on turn 2, we're utilizing the Blonde Clay special with the waifu support. That's just going to give us 1 turn of cooldown. He can take care of the rest, and then from there, you're pretty much off to the races. Fortunately, like I said, on the final stage, we are going to have to deal with some special reverse. And like I said, if you charge specials, which Ace is going to do, you're in for a rough time. So use Ace on turn 2. He's going to override the territory. You can use the swap of Lucario on turn 2 as well. That's going to, or I believe you actually Lucci. Maybe you're Kaku. It might be Kaku on turn 2, and then you can get the every single types. So that way it kind of gives you a 3-turn attack boost, and you can carry that into the final stage. On the final stage, realistically, all you have to do is utilize the Lucario special. They're going to give themselves cooldowns, but you do have to deal with the Despair. 6 turns of Despair is a little bit annoying, but a very easy way to get around that is to slap on the Whitebeard support on Ace. I believe I was meant to do this, but I just totally glossed over that. The Whitebeard support on Ace, and then this particular Hiyori has what's it called? This particular Hiyori has double special activation, and she can remove 2 turns of Despair. So you only need to get around 6, but you do have to give her cooldown. So we're going to slap on the Odin support there. As I mentioned, I totally butchered the whole Lucario thing. So we do need to get her cooldown somehow. She's also going to be a chain booster for the team as well, which is really, really nice. Getting the chain boost. Which one of Lucario does this? Because ideally, you want to be Kaku on the final stage, right? But you want to go into turn 2 with the threshold removal. So I believe Kaku is the one. Yeah, so you want to go into turn 2 with Kaku, but then you have to super swap to get the cooldown on Lucario, because they're going to get that 1 turn of special reverse, which is super annoying. So, yeah. Yeah, so you have to super swap with them, and then when you super swap with them, you're going to go into the what's your name? You're going to go into the Lucci form, which is very, very annoying, because that way you won't have type advantage. Kind of sucks, but I believe actually if you go on this final stage and you use anything to charge specials, you lose your beneficial effects, and then you remove, like, the enemy removes your type. So you could do some stuff there with, like, special charge, but ideally, you kind of don't want to. Aces are going to give type advantage to Powerhouse and Free Spirit characters, so you don't have to worry about that all that much. But what you want to do with Bon Clay is you want to turn him into, like, a Powerhouse-driven character, or a Free Spirit. Probably, like, actually a Cerebral, now that I'm looking at it. Because you are going to get a territory from Hiyori as well. So, ideally, you probably want to make him Driven Fighter, because that obviously works under Lucario. You want to make him Dex, because that way he's type advantage, and then you probably want to make him either like a Free Spirit or a Cerebral character, whichever one works better with the special. Probably a Free Spirit or Powerhouse, because that way you get the type advantage, and that should work out super hunky-dory. But that's the team there. Obviously, a little bit scuffed for the back end of the video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it, though. If you did, but like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, if you guys are in this beautiful world, please enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.